So I guess that would do it for me now. Some of you guys may know me, some of you may not. I'm Travis Phillips. I am former VP of this group. I do presentations most of the time. Most of the time they're about security, but this time it's a little bit off of my normal beaten path. It's not really infosec or hacking or anything like that this time. I just kind of occasionally notice little inefficiencies and then become absolutely obsessed with trying to improve them. And I've noticed that there was a small problem with the way that tar and make, which are two tools that if you get into doing a lot of Linux stuff, you'll probably be using quite a bit of. They're both single core by default, single thread. Right there you can actually see a screenshot, and I've got like a little performance monitor over there going with it. And you see a single thread hopping across multiple cores, but it's not multi-threaded. So that kind of bothered me because I'm sitting here with 4 cores on this little box, and this job is taking forever, and I don't see why it should have to. I've got 3 other cores that aren't doing anything. So yeah, it's just, this is the way that it works by default. So I was wondering if there was any way to possibly improve that. And lo and behold, if we read the man page, there is a switch, -I or --use compression program. What this will do is tar will run and do the Twitter archiving. However, it will pass off the compression to an external program. Now, that's actually very cool. And the reason why for that is because there are already a ton of tools out there that actually support multi-threading when it comes to compression. Pigs is used for doing GZIP compression. PBZIP2 will do your BZIP compression. And then PXZ will do your LZMA compression. And all of these are multi-threaded. So whenever you run the command, we'd actually run it with like the -I and one of these tools here. And all of these are available, by the way, in the Debian repo, which means also your Ubuntu, Kali, Mint, whatever. Repos should all have these, and then you can use it. And then when we run that instead, it gets a lot more interesting on our performance monitor there. We have 100% across all 4 cores. That was more or less what I'm looking for. And so I kind of, being a little bit obsessive about this stuff, I decided to play around with it. And playing around with it, I actually found a few things. One, that will actually work on decompression as well. So that's kind of nice. It only works for giving you a performance boost if there's multiple files. So one area where I found this did not help me at all was I play with odoroids from time to time. And when you get the image from that, it is a single .image file that is .xz. So LZMA, this is not going to help you at all. It's still going to run single core on that because it's just one job, where if it was multiple files, then it would actually be able to multi-thread it, but you do need that. I recommend breaking out your switches. I did run into a few issues where stacking switches did not work very well while I was actually using this. So I found just break them out and use the dashes. Because I ran into an issue where it decided that all of that stuff are actually files and not switches if you don't use the dashes. Where normally you can get away with just doing like tar, ZX, VF, whatever, without the dash. Use the dashes, go back to actually doing it properly. And if you wanted to provide arguments to the external program, you can do that. Just put them in double quotes whenever you are passing it over to the -I switch, and it will definitely do that. And I decided to try to do some benchmarking on this and see where we can stand. Also, I decided I kind of wanted to do this as well because of the different compression algorithms out there and when is the time to use them, when it's not, what do you get for using them, which ones are faster, which ones are slower, which ones are better. So I did some benchmarking on that. And for the target, I decided to take all the source code for the 4.17 kernel. I decided that would be a good target because it was about 784 megabytes and approximately 65,000 files. So I figured a lot of files, decent size. We should be able to see something. Also, since they're all text files, that also allows for some really nice compression. If you want to do another little interesting experiment, go ahead and create a just type dev random into a file and try to compress that. Probably come out to about the same size as it was. So it likes to see patterns and stuff like that. Whenever that's what compression algorithms generally look for, and then they basically replace it with all stuff. And then with this benchmarking, I decided to use every single one of the compression algorithms, multi and single threaded across every level of the compression algorithm, 10 runs each, so that way we could get an average. For my benchmarking system, I was actually using a VM that was running on Qubes OS. It had 4 cores out of an i7 processor running at 3.6 gigs with 4 gigs of RAM on it, and the host OS on the VM was Debian Stretch. So total bench time, whenever all this was said and done, was about 9 hours. 9.5 hours basically. I scripted this, so I didn't actually have to babysit it. But I had it, like I said, run 10 runs for each level of each compression algorithm, both multi and single threaded. The reason why is I figured we could just average those out, and then that should count for any, deviations that happen from just weird crap on the system. So at this point in the presentation, I'm just going to focus on the averages, and I'm not really going to worry too much about doing that. I did average these out. Now, single threaded is GZIP across all levels 1 through 9. The shortest run was about 10 seconds. The longest taking one was 9, and that was at about 35 seconds. If we multi-thread it, then level 9 only takes 10 seconds, which is the shortest time with single threaded, and the fastest goes in under 4 seconds. Actually, about 2.5. So not bad for a performance boost, but we're still talking pretty quick compression algorithm anyways. But comparing the two side by side, it's still a lot faster to do the multi-thread. And then, like I said, the other thing I was kind of interested with all this is what sort of boost do you get from the file size with these different compression algorithms. So at level 1 with GZIP, we were getting about 205, and at the highest end with level 9, we were getting about 160 megabytes from the original tarball, which would have been 768 minutes. So still not a bad little compression algorithm off of that. GZIP I did as well, and it had some weird reactions with this one. So this was a single thread, with level 1 taking more time than level 2, level 3, and level 4. I don't know why. But do what?
Is it interesting?
Yes, and even more interesting was that when we multi-threaded, there's a spike at level 7. I'm not sure why. So, but that still happened either way. These ones took about a minute for GZIP to actually run through any of the levels. It was actually fairly linear as far as the time concern was going. Like, it looks kind of aggressive on this, but if you'll notice, the top is only 6 seconds difference between the bottom. So it's a very small, tight graph. Otherwise, it looks pretty linear. You don't really see much. GZIP multi-threaded shortened it down quite a bit. We were talking about 15 seconds versus a minute. So, and then, like I said, very linear in performance between the levels. So if you're using GZIP, you might as well just go ahead and go for level 9. It doesn't seem to matter as far as the time goes, but there's that. I have heard though that the decompression actually takes a little bit longer on the GZIP, if I understood that correctly. So very quick for the end user to compress, kind of a long time for the end user to decompress. So, but if that's not really a concern, you can use this. But as you can see, the performance here was so-so as far as the compression sizes go. Not too much of a difference from what you kind of saw with the GZIP. LZMA is the one that takes the longest out of all of them. With level 1 going from about 33.5 seconds all the way up to 6 minutes and 25 seconds. 6 minutes and 15 seconds. But either way, it grows quite exponentially as you go across the levels. And once you get across level 9, 5, it just starts really creeping up. multi-threading though, however, did shorten it down, with the longest one being 3 minutes, so it did knock it down by half. And then same thing with the shortest time, knocked it down by about half. But still, if you're working with larger jobs, or I'm sorry, the level 9 compression algorithm, you're trying to get the smallest tarball that you can, it does make a huge difference actually when you're doing that. So it's worth it to do the parallelism whenever you're looking with that. And as far as size goes, LZMA actually results in the smallest tarballs. So good to know. But the trade-off is a long time for compression. So if you're comparing all the levels against each other, you can see that GZIP was the fastest. GZIP was second place and very linear, and then LZMA just kind of spikes straight up there and just grows exponentially. Good trade-off for the file size, but again, it's the time trade-off. So if it's one of those things that you can set the job up and just let it run and not worry about it, run overnight, I don't care, and you're trying to make it as small as possible, that's a good one. Otherwise, GZIP seems to be a pretty good fit. Multi-threaded, again, just very fast. BZIP and GZIP start to get really close to each other, while LZMA is still kind of sailing towards the stars. File size compression, the bar on the left was the original file size with the 3 other versions. So the orange was GZIP, the yellow was BZIP, and then green was LZMA. So that's the average across the file sizes from level 1 to level 9. We took all the sizes and averaged them. That's kind of where we landed. Cutting that out of there, you can actually just see across all the levels with the different compression algorithms where they kind of stack up against each other. So LZMA, very clear at level 9. BZIP seems to beat GZIP, and then GZIP is kind of the highest one, but still not really that bad. I mean, we're talking from the lowest end here at 102 megabytes all the way up to a little over 200 megabytes from the lowest end of the GZIP. It's still not too bad, given that we went from 768 megs. So not too bad, but it is still good to know, because it's just like when do you decide when you want to use GZIP, BZIP, or LZMA? There you go. So I thought that was kind of handy. So the next thing that I kind of wanted to cover was Make. So Make is a tool that you can use for building projects and stuff like that. Again, that one is also single-threaded by default. And apparently there was a man page part of entry in there with -J, where what it'll do is it will run parallel on builds. So it will actually try to build things as quickly as it can while it's doing the compression, or I'm sorry, the compilation. And it will dramatically speed up the timing again as well as that. But if you have a automated nightly build server or something like this is really something worth knowing, especially if you've got a lot of jobs to build and then it's kind of slowing down on just still running whenever you're coming in. But with this, it can help you speed it up by actually using all the cores on the system. Benchmark method, again, it was kind of single-threaded 10 times, and then multi-threaded 10 times for these 2 projects that I used, which was InMap 7.0 or 7.70, and then John the Ripper, the Jumbo 1.8 Magnum release. So from GitHub, and all in all, it was fairly quick. The InMap, again, about a third of the time, versus single versus multi-core. And same thing with the John the Ripper, about a third of the time. And you just do that with that -J switch. There it is, -J or -jobs. With this one, go ahead.
Just one question. Were you, because there's hyper-threading on the processor you were using, were you doing 4, 5, 8, or 9 jobs?
I was doing 4 because I was doing this in a VM that has 4 cores too.
Oh.
So that's how that works. Okay. So, but yeah, I did it with 4 cores when I did these benchmarks on this. You can, on this one, you can use -J and actually control it and say, I want to limit it to that, to this many threads. I believe with most of the parallel BZIP, GZIP, and LZMA, you can do that as well. You can pass that as switches to those external programs. So, but it's kind of the same result between these two. In fact, one thing that really seems to change is color orientation. But if you're doing builds, I highly recommend multi-threading those. But this has been really helpful for me. So multi-threading, conclusion on that. This is kind of a short presentation, but the conclusion on it is that the multi-threading is not the default behavior. I'm not sure why it's not. It probably should be. As far as it goes with car, this can actually speed up and save you a lot of time if you were looking to do that. I personally was looking into it because I was looking into scripts to back up your entire home folder. And when you're doing that and you're talking several gigs of data that need to be compressed before being uploaded, this is a massive time saver. So just add it to your script, it's easy enough. If you have a backup script, just do that. Make this the same way. Again, if you're doing, I have a few machines that are kind of like this laptop, it's a burner laptop. I refresh it all the time, which means that I literally scorch the earth and rebuild every time I want to use it. I've got a lot of scripts that are designed to speed that up, including pulling these things down and then building them from scratch. Some of the tools that I use are available with repos. Or there's just a better reason to do that version of the repo is really outdated or something. That can also help speed up the build process of the machine when I'm building it. So at my point, you've got the extra cores, why not do it? Even if you don't want to go full bore on it and completely max out the CPU usage on it, still ask yourself why not do half. It's still better than this one. So
one reason that make doesn't by default do it is it can introduce errors. I've had like in Gen2 compile packages that compile. I natively do a J in the number of processors I have, but sometimes if you have a package that basically explodes on make and you can't get it to do it, you can stop doing the multi-threaded and it will complete successfully. So I think it's kind of a safety thing for make at least.
Yeah, that's like hard. Makes sense. But yeah, no, just kind of the core is just, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing to use. Huge performance boost on that.
Other than CPU, concerns on the computer, why wouldn't you?
So one thing that was actually kind of funny while I was doing this testing, again, trying to be crazy and still about this, I decided to actually try to run these tests, my testing script, on the Odroid U3, which was really funny and it was working great, and it was actually, you were seeing huge performance boost on that as well because of the fact that it had several cores, especially in its ARM. It did run into an issue where whenever it started doing LZMA at higher levels, the memory usage of those processes started to get really high, and you could no longer use malloc to actually get more memory. And these jobs literally started dying left and right. So that's another area where that was a problem, because the device had 2 gigs of RAM and 8 cores. So, and what it, like I was reading online, there were like a lot of people that were saying that it wants about 300 megs of RAM when you get up to those really high levels per job, or per file that it's compressing. And at that point it sees 8 of those cores and goes, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then chokes the memory out. So that was another area where I didn't want to do that. Generally though, nowadays, I generally tend to favor towards, let's go ahead and multi-thread, and unless I run into an issue, then I'll pull it back down, or I'll even try to limit the jobs, which is what I tried to do on the Odroid, but it got to the point where I really could only realistically get away with running them 3 threads. And I was like, oh, that's it.
Because I wonder why it's not default.
Yeah. So that could be part of it.
Yep.
They don't want to have to troubleshoot people asking why is this dying, because they were in a weird situation where they have way more cores than they have memory or something like that.
Sure.
It took me a little bit too, because like I said, it was scripted, and what it was doing is it was running time with these commands and then dumping that out to a file that I eventually wrote that script and just harvested. Yeah, it was one of those things I was reading those times, and I'm just like, that can't be right. There's no way this could be taking 1 second. Well, yeah, no, it does whenever it dies, fatally, because it can't get memory. So, there you have it. Like I said, short presentation, and that's about it. So,